here's an interesting story about what happens when such a magical object is misused by greedy people. The title of the story is How the Sea Became Salty. Here it goes. Sridhar was an orphan. He lived with his kind brother Keshav and his sister-in-law Leela. Leela was a mean lady who gave Keshav less to eat and much work to do. One day Leela told Sridhar to get firewood. Obediently, he went to the nearby forest with his axe. He chopped woods in the forest till it got dark. Then he bundled the sticks and returned home. Leela shouted as she saw him, "What took you so long? And where is the axe?" He told Sridhar to not enter the house without the axe. Sridhar returned to the forest and walked deeper into it, looking for the axe. Soon it began raining, but Sridhar saw a distant flicker of light. He ran towards the light and saw that it was coming from a fire which had been lit in the cave. Sridhar entered the cave and spotted his axe lying next to some firewood. Then, as he looked carefully, some dwarfs emerged from the shadows. Without taking any notice of him, they gathered around the fire and, holding hands, began to dance. An old dwarf with long white beard approached Sridhar and asked him to join their dance. Instead, Sridhar chopped the firewood and fed the dying fire. He repeated this throughout the night. In the morning, the dwarfs thanked Sridhar for helping them and gifted him a magical fan. He was told to wave the fan when he desired something, and he would receive it. And when he has received enough, he had to whisper, "Enough" thrice. When the dwarfs left, Sridhar waved the fan and asked for a hot meal, and delicious dishes started to fall from the sky. The dishes stopped appearing when he said, "Enough, enough, enough." Instead of going back to Keshav's house, Sridhar built himself a beautiful house in a town nearby. Keshav and Leela became jealous on hearing about Sridhar, so they went to see him. Sridhar, who had always been very fond of his brother, greeted them politely. In the night, Leela asked Keshav to find out the secret to Sridhar's riches. When Keshav questioned Sridhar, he told him about the magic fan, but Keshav did not have the patience to hear the part about stopping the items from appearing. Keshav and Leela stole the fan and some valuables at night and escaped to the ship harbor. Leela told the captain that Keshav was a salt merchant and they were carrying salt in their bags. Next day at lunchtime, the cook told the captain that they were out of salt. So the captain asked Keshav for some salt. Keshav and Leela discreetly waved the fan and said, "Give us salt." Sacks of salt started to fall from the sky. The couple hadn't learned how to stop it, so they yelled, "Stop! Halt! Cease!" But it didn't stop. Soon the ship sank, and it rained salt for days until the dwarfs stopped it with magic. But by then, the sea had become salty forever. So you see how the greed of Sridhar's brother and sister-in-law turned the sea salty. And now when we are on the beach, we see water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. I wish I can turn this water back to usable form.